Hi. So, what I'd like to do now is just take you through some stretching, because obviously with our poor posture we want to improve it. So I'm going to assume that you've got a little bit of an anterior head carriage, a little bit of a closed shoulder, which would give you a little bit of upper cross syndrome. Somewhere in this app I have done something on upper cross syndrome. So this is to help you improve your posture. So there's two sets of stretching I want to do with you. One is called active and one is passive. A passive stretch is the ones you are used to. So a passive stretch, if I was to stretch my back of my neck because my head is forward, I would place it in the position I want and I would passively ask for that stretch position. If I was going to do that actively, I would use something called PNF, which is proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, and I would tense my muscle for 7 seconds and then stretch for 7 and repeat it 3 times. So that's what this one is going to look like. So you've got your passive one that you can hold for 30 seconds, or you can do this one, which is the active one. So I'm going to place my hands behind my head in good posture, elbows nice and open. I'm going to push my head back into my hands for 7 seconds. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to release the tension, take a breath. And as I breathe out, I'm going to bring the chin into the chest and I'm going to help to stretch that position a little bit more. Holding for 7. And then I'm going to come back up. Again, neck area be gentle. Push back with the head into the hands. So you've got a little resistance going on between the two. And then as I release, take it around and you'll find you get more stretch from this one. Squeezing the abdominals, don't let them go, don't let your hips drop forward, stay in good posture. And then release and repeat one more time. So that's to lengthen the back of your neck. Now we're going to look at the tightness in the chest. Now quite often, if you do know me from clinic, I will do a one arm chest stretch where the elbow and shoulder are at the same height. Put the weight on the front foot, and just passively stretch through the chest muscles here, our pecs or pectorals. Okay, so you can do that. That's a passive stretch. Now, if I wanted to turn that into an active PNF stretch, I'll stand with my elbows slightly in front of the shoulder and I'm going to push into the door frame for 7 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, breathe in. As I breathe out, I'm going to move into a stretch and then go a little further. So you feel the stretch happening. 4, 3, 2, 1, that's 7 seconds. Move back, create the pressure, squeeze the elbow into the wood. So you're pushing your elbow and forearm forward. 2, 1, release, breathe. Move forward, stretch through there. Each time, because you've contracted the muscle, it will release even more. So you get a good stretch through there. And then I'm going to release. Now, that would be 3 times. I've only shown you 2. The other thing you can do is a double doorway stretch, which is great, saves time. Push forward. This is a passive. Push forward, stretching both your arms, chest. Keep your shoulders down away from your ears. Don't be like this, that's negative. So nice and long, pushing forward. The other one I want to cover there is also for your lats. So the muscle that comes from the lower back all the way around naturally attaches to the front side of your shoulder here. So taking the shoulders up above the door frame already gets the stretch, and then leaning forward with your chest. I can't show you that. You could move a little bit the camera. Just so you can see I'm forward and stretching through. So again, this is passive, so this would be a 30-second stretch, and then I gently release back. When you do all these stretches, please do not over-arc your belly, your back even, let your belly hang. You should have been pulled up and pulled in the whole time. So we've got the back of the neck stretch, the chest, and the lats that are coming from the back and around to the front. That will help release the shoulders at the front. Hello. So I'm sitting in a chair. This is the thing I nag and nag and nag about. So I'm sitting like you shouldn't. So I'm rounded my back, my belly's relaxed, my shoulders are down, my head is forward. I could be driving the car, changing gear, but
I'm in a terrible position. So, the things that suffer, I can't sit like that. The things that suffer when we sit like that, our hip flexors become shortened because they come from the spine and into our femur. So in a better position, they don't suffer so badly. The calf, the muscle at the back here, gets very tight. So instead of having it stretched out like we would in a standing position, so that can become very tight. Quads can get very tight. Hamstrings, sitting right down the back here, so bending here, and they come off the sit bones. So again, if you use your sit bones wrong and you're bent over, this position here is, close. So they're the things that you need to address. But let's just look at sitting properly. So if I was sitting at a desk or whatever, I would sit on my sit bones and I would sit above so that my shoulders sit on top of my hips and my feet would be nice 90 degrees, good height of chair, shoulders, head on top. I might even have a little box to rest my foot on so that I get a little rest from time to time on each one. Or to stretch out the calf, the short calf, you can have a little platform where your feet sit up at an angle. But either way, we shouldn't sit for more than half an hour. So whether that's driving, office work, sitting on the sofa, or whatever, then please just get up, loosen up, do your wake up and shake up, loosen everything off, and so that's about the sitting. Very bad. I'm going to move the chair. So what muscles were we looking at? So let's have a look at stretching some of those. So one of the biggest things that a lot of therapists you go to talk about are tight hip flexors. Now I don't always go along with that, but yes, tight hip flexors can cause problems, so we're going to look at stretching them. So we're going to do that active and passively. If you've got knee issues, I've got a towel here. I haven't, but I'm just demonstrating it. So the leg that's going to be left behind is going to have most of the weight on it. So this foot comes forward in a nice open position because you're going to drive forward. You can have your toe up if you want to. I'm going to relax mine, but it's more comfortable for me. And I'm going to keep my hips like headlights facing forward. Now this is just a passive stretch for the hip flexors. So the body stays nice and upright and you feel the hip flexor stretch going down into the groin. You can use 2 hands of support here and just keep breathing your way down until your 30 seconds is up. Okay, to make that more of a PNF or a proprioceptive neuromuscular stretch with a little bit of contract and then relax, we don't make it massive, we make sure that we're still in good position, and then we're just going to, I am pushing my knee towards my left foot, so right knee to left foot. That means I'm creating a contraction. Hold it for 7 and then lower forward. Get into the stretch, hold for 7. Don't overstretch, nothing should be painful. I can't say it's a joy, but you'll feel the stretch, but it shouldn't be pain. And then after the 7 seconds, come back a little bit and then increase that stretch again. 20% contraction. So we're not looking for you to go, we're not athletes. We're not trying to be the Top Gun. And then slowly down. Hold that for 7 seconds. So, 3 times when we do the PNS and we'll get a nice hip flexor stretch. What's important? Always do the other side. Okay, very important. Hamstring can be done in the same way. Now, if you're struggling with your knees, I can show you another hamstring. Have something to hold on to for your balance. You're going to take that same, we're working all on the leg facing you. So I'd have just changed over to the hip. So hamstring, straight leg hamstring, out in front of you, and the headlights are still facing forward, the body's still nice and upright. But what I'm doing here is, I'm pulling the sit bone backwards. So I'm lengthening. So this insertion where the hamstring goes here is moved further away, and my bottom is moving further away. So a nice long stretch through the hamstrings here. If I want to increase that and bring the calf in, I can bring the toes up, still keeping the headlights forward, tummy engaged, lengthen through the spine. Good stretch. If I want to make that on the shorter hamstrings, I have to make that even harder. I've put the heel on the floor and I'm really feeling that more towards my bottom now. And just stretching there. Again, good alignment through the body. Put your hands on your hips and pull your shoulders back. Get a little stretch from the chest at the same time. And then release that. and just let that relax. You don't stretch them enough. Okay, and here's another alternative. Again, hamstrings, calves. I don't know where you are or what you're up to or what you can physically do at the moment. This is your towel. I've just taken a hand towel and folded it over. And then I'm going to lengthen my leg away from me. You can have that leg straight if you want to. You can have that leg bent. It doesn't matter. Make sure that you're facing forward. And then you can see me extend this leg. Now, if you've got very hyper extended knees that can go sort of upside down, don't do that. Keep your heel on the floor or just above the floor, about 1 inch off the floor, and really feel that stretch. Want to increase the stretch? Walk your hands down the towel and you'll really feel that stretch. I need to do more stretching. Okay, also keep your shoulders back and down. Always thinking of your posture. Hello. So piriformis, it's a little muscle that comes from your sacrum to your hip and can compress the sciatic nerve. So it can give you false readings about having sciatica. But even if you do have real sciatica coming from the spine, releasing the piriformis can sometimes help. So I'm going to give you 2 stretches. One anyone can do, and the other one might be a little bit more difficult if you're challenged a little bit at the knee physically. So rolling down into your nice flat position, and then I'm going to do the one nearest you. So I'm going to bring the leg up, drop away my other leg. My hand on the knee pushes the knee in between my chest. So my lady mumps, whatever you want to call them, but in between your chest, your knee must sit. So if it's over here, that's no good, that's more gluteal. So piriformis, bring it over, then use the other hand on the mid-shin part, and then that's what creates the torsion. And as you feel the torsion, you'll feel a very direct line through the piriformis here. And again, you can just relax into this over the next 30 seconds. Okay, so that's that one. Most of you should be able to do that. I'm going to now change positions. So I'm going to roll on my side, then push up into my little seated position. Now, it's important that you get this bit right. So we're in the all fours position. My mat has a nice line down the centre. So the centre is where my knee should go. It's exactly the same as you've just done, only we're going to put our body weight on it. So I'm going to take the one nearest to you and put the foot the other side of my leg. My knee is in the centre, and I'm going to lower my body down. Okay, so now really feeling that in the piriformis. You can come down to the forearms for this, but again, if you've got that position right, you will really feel that sort of in a very nice direct line, right into there. And then breathe through it, and 30 seconds. And then calf stretches, there's so many. Here's one we use in Pilates, which is we're using a lot of Pilates at the moment, so I think that's really important. Sitting back in this position, this is for your short calf stretch, but we were moaning when we were in the seated position that the calf on the surface, the one that crosses the knee, is shortened. So we're going to take our body up in the air and our head down on the floor and into this position where we have a nice stretch for the calves and the hamstrings and the neck and the arms. This is just such a good position. So this would have been the roll down. And then I'm going to come back up because you know this position. This is a stretch for the long hamstrings. If you don't like getting on the floor or your knee hurts, then let's take it to a different level. So this could be a chair, which it is, and it could be a step, and it could be lower. It doesn't matter what height it is. What matters is that your posture stays really good. So again, if you've got a chair or something beside you to help you balance, that's wonderful. Your headlights, your hip bones stay forward, and then relax your feet because you're going to really feel the stretch from here. So back's neutral. Please, if you do this, there's no stretch. I can go right down here. So you have to really push your hips backwards and stay nice and upright to get this stretch right down here. Now, I've moved my headlights. The headlights must be facing forward. If I want to really emphasize a part of my hamstrings, if I turn across this way, I'm really stretching the outside part of our hamstrings, which nobody does. We all have our legs out to the side or turned out. So turning your headlights across the knee into the feet really again emphasises the outside of your hamstrings. Another good stretch. You can bend the knee, and just change the fibres of your stretch. And again, rotate towards, you'll really feel this stretch. Squeezing the abdominals, staying in good form, hamstring stretch. Thank you. There we go. So, thank you for listening. I hope these stretches help you. Yes, I would suggest them daily. Thank you.